Okay, hi guys. On one of our templates that ships out of the box with a Knowledge Cube subscription. We've actually got a whole bunch of getting started templates that ship. They're great reference material. They come with great functionality. And really good if people just want to go and have a look at something that we've built before, maybe extend upon that, or just look at how we've built really. Now, I'm actually going to bring Kieran in quite quickly on this one, and Kieran can very briefly go through what we're actually going to be seeing today.
Thanks, Harry. Yeah, so what I wanted to do today was sort of extend what we showed on episode 1 of the series, where we actually just introduced a quite a simple expenses application using Knowledge Cube and integrated directly with Teams. And what I wanted to do today was sort of show a bit more of an advanced functionality in things of like quote comparison, business processes, being able to integrate with different Teams channels, and then start to extend it out with like integrating with payment providers, electronic signature, and so on. So it's a really exciting episode, hopefully.
Okay, brilliant. So, okay, can we have a look at something then?
Yeah, of course. So what I've got here is our Knowledge Cube template. So this is everything you see has been built in Knowledge Cube, and when you get a license of or a subscription of Knowledge Cube, you get this template. Okay, and all these are pre-configured templates that you can then start to either go and explore how we've done it, so you can get right into the detail and actually understand how we built them, and then build your own application based off of them. Or you can start to extend them out. So take the insurance demo we're going to show very, very shortly. It's an end-to-end process, but you could start to adjust that process to fit your business without having to start from scratch. So it's about getting you started and get you working using Knowledge Cube as quickly as possible.
Okay, brilliant. So we're going to be seeing an insurance demo today then. So why is it that we've picked insurance for today?
Okay, so insurance is a great example. Okay, it has multiple different use cases. There's different processes behind the scenes. So taking just a simple insurance product. Okay, there's many factors to how they will provide you a quote based on risk. So the example we're going to show today is around a landlord's insurance. Okay, and about around properties. So things like terrorism, subsidence, flood risk. Major factors in being able to provide a quote. So great example of where you have different processes. But the other example is the fact that there are multiple vendors or suppliers known in the insurance industry as underwriters. So the fact that you can give quote comparison using Knowledge Cube allows you to have total flexibility.
Okay, brilliant. So now you said quote comparison. It doesn't have to be quote comparison though.
Yeah, and it's really important to say. So the demo today is obviously around insurance, but it's not specific to insurance. The features that we're using here can be used across multiple verticals, so it could be worked in. A couple of examples: telecommunications, utilities. Things like price comparison are becoming more and more common in our everyday world that we live in. People are becoming used to having to go and actually, I'm going to directly from there, but also be able to adhere to the different product rules and offerings.
Okay, should we have a look then?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So let me just open up the hamburger menu on the left-hand side. Okay, we're going to go down to demos, and you can see there's a few other demos on there already, but we go to the insurance demo.
And this is the page that ships with Knowledge Cube subscription. So they get all of that information in there. They get a bunch of demos, reference material.
Yeah, so everything you see on here is what gets shipped out of the box. Okay, so the key is, okay, not everybody's a designer, so it's all about the fact that an application should look good right from the outset. So build your application and it looks good. So everything you see today has been built using this template. There's no custom styling or anything there. Everything you see can be achieved using Knowledge Cube.
So just before you continue, sorry, Kieran, I just want to reiterate the point to everyone that this is just a template. So I know that we've gone down a very insurance route here, but it's just a template. I know you said it can go cross vertical, but this is aimed towards insurance people, but we obviously don't have all insurance people as the audience. So
Yeah, and I think it's important to say is that we've got a couple of points just to say is the fact that number one is the fact this is just one process, okay? And if you think of any of the people that are on watching that are from this sort of the insurance industry, I think, well, that's nothing like my process. We understand that this is just a small aspect of what you would be trying to deliver in a policy management system, because there'll be other things around like claims, adjustments, renewals, things that that need to be taken care of. But Knowledge Cube can handle that. But it's about being able to deliver specific processes and then extend on them as time goes on. But also, as I've sort of touched on, is the fact that everything looks good, it comes out of the box. But actually, if you are a designer and you want to extend that capability, or you have a design resource that wants to extend the capability of what your site looks like, you can do that with out of the box tools as well. So there's no constraints on how your application is going to look and feel.
Okay, so what you're going to be showing us today then is not a huge system. It's actually a relatively small system, which is just one aspect of what a policy management system could look like.
Yeah, and it's got some aspects of complex workflow, being able to go and say make key decisions at key points, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But what we're presented with here is a simple landing page, markers page. This could be your home page of your site, and you can see you can have rich content on there. You can deliver your product offerings, and going down if we go down the page, you can see there's sections for you to go and say how it works. Even areas for examples where you can go and present case studies to your customers. These are things that you would expect from your everyday sites that you would be looking to manage. So Knowledge Cube can do exactly that. So let's get started. So by clicking get an insurance quote, okay, we're now presented with a screen like we showed in episode 1. Okay, so the application around expenses. We've got a data capture form. Okay, so we're capturing some information about the individual, and the real important thing to say is everything's built in Knowledge Cube. And as we scroll down, what I want to just sort of highlight is that right from the outset, everything that you do can impact the end result. So what we've got here is a few examples of different postcodes that have different outcomes on the quotes, on the actual delivery. And what I sort of said earlier, we have flood, we have subsidence, and we have terrorism risk being analysed in this example. Okay, but each supplier may quote differently, and they may have different rules based on risk. So one supplier will go and say, yeah, we're happy to quote on that. The other supplier may say, no, we're not happy. So with Knowledge Cube, you can build that custom workflow in for each supplier and be able to handle that. And the user is none the wiser. All of this takes place in the background. So taking the user down a guided experience, common set of questions, and being able to deliver multiple quotes all in one go.
Okay, so just to touch on that point then. So you've entered in some information here. So there must be a rules engine that sits behind here that's pinging off the information to different modules, essentially. So how complicated or how complex can that rules engine get?
It can be as complex as you like. So typically we get given a spreadsheet and asked to replicate that in in Knowledge Cube. Okay, and obviously spreadsheets have their common problems in terms of the fact that actually they don't allow people to self-serve, and that's what more people are now expecting, a self-serve environment to be able to get a quote and then make a decision based on it. Knowledge Cube allows you to do that, but also, yes, we just refer to spreadsheets, but actually there are suppliers that have connected services that are available that you can then go and consume. So you could actually go and integrate direct with them and then bring results back onto the front end for the end user without having to write any code. And it's really, really straightforward.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's continue with our quote. So if we go to page 2, we're then presented with, are you looking to get insurance based on an individual or as a company? And you can see we have a set of questions that are already there. But if we change it to individual, so with Knowledge Cube, you can control the workflow as you're going through the process. Okay, so it may be the fact that you've got a sub process that's you're not ready to put online yet. You may still want to be able to do that in-house and do it manually, but being able to cater for it in a specific format. So we've got a data capture form where you're capturing the individual's details, asking for a specific time. We can then deliver that into your CRM system for action. We could deliver it into your Outlook calendar. So again, Knowledge Cube allows you to be completely flexible in your approach. So what I'm now going to do is go on to company, go back down this route, and we're going to click next on there. And at this point, we're now starting to capture data about the property. These are things that are going to impact the overall premium at the end. So as we scroll down, we can say, ask is the property freehold or lease? Okay, is the property more than 20% occupied? And again, all of these questions could have an impact on the actual rating and the premium that is delivered at the end. And Knowledge Cube caters for, as again, going back to your question, can be as complex as you like. We've had examples where the calculations have gone across multiple tabs within a spreadsheet. So you have ultimate flexibility at your fingertips with Knowledge Cube. So by clicking next, what we're then going to do is take those questions and take the responses to those questions and pass them through every supplier in the system and calculate the best rates for that individual. Okay, so by clicking next, we click submit, and you can now see that we're presented with 3 quotes. Okay, so for three different insurers or underwriters. Okay, so what you'll notice here is that we've got 2 select buttons, okay, but one's missing. The reason for this is that Knowledge Cube has done the calculations behind the scenes and it's identified that one of the quotes is not available because it's been referred to an underwriter, referred for a further review. And this is really important. So it gives you that flexibility to handle those different scenarios. But what I've done behind the scenes is I've built some connectors up to Teams. And I'll bring that up in just a second, and it then passes the data into those relevant channels. So it extends what we showed in episode 1 around how we passed one adaptive card into a specific channel. We're now passing it into multiple channels. So if I just bring up Teams, okay, so you can see I've created 4 different channels. We've got referral and then 1 for each of the different insurers, and you can see I've got notifications in 3 of them. And this is where what's really important is the fact that, we understand that, not every process can be automated at this given time. So it's handling that, what I refer to the 80-20 rule. Allow the system to deliver 80% of the functionality that you're happy to go from A to B smoothly, and then allow your workforce to work smarter and focus on the 20% that really needs their attention and deliver it. And more importantly, is it can be delivered directly into Teams channels. So you don't have to leave Teams. So if I open up referrals as an example, so that quote that we got that was said they couldn't be provided needs to be referred. It's been delivered directly into this channel. We can see the information. We can see the reason for why it failed, and it's directly in your channel. So we can then go and deliver calls to action directly out of the system. So it could be the fact that they go and have a conversation with the insurer and say, okay, yep, we're happy for the premium to be this amount. The user can then type that in, and that passes back into another Knowledge Cube workflow that notifies the individual that their quote is now ready for approval. The next, or it could be the complete flip opposite, and they're going to say, no, we're not happy to insure this individual, and they decline it. Again, that invokes a different workflow that notifies the individual that they're not prepared to get a quote on this cover.
So on that point then, so the person that would be looking at this channel now, for instance, would be someone sitting in a call center or the referrals team, but instead of going into all of these other systems, they just work from within Teams. So everyone's putting in their information on the front end, but it's all just returning straight back into Teams immediately.
Yeah, exactly, and it pushes it to the relevant department, so the workflow is handled. So therefore, your teams will only have to deal with the messages that are relevant to them. So again, it's very, very specific, and you control that all by your Office 365 domain. So you don't have to have different permissions set up and so on. But if I just quickly, just before we go back to the demo, I just thought I'd just show the different quotes that have been brought through. So Shield, you can see here, and the premium. So including taxes, so all the data, and these are built, everything that's coming through here is being built directly in Knowledge Cube. So you can include as much or as little information as you want in these cards. The choice is yours.
So just before you go back to the demo then, Kieran, sorry, I just thought of a question. So if you're sitting in a call center, you're sitting in one of these teams, comes through to that, you've had a referral.
Yeah.
Can we have actions that sit within Teams there that then push back into the system.
Yeah, and it's exactly it's like what I just referred to, and they're like the referrals. It's just a workflow. It can be the fact that we push directly into another team's channel. It could be the fact we push into the website. Again, you have ultimate flexibility using Knowledge Cube, and that there's no constraints on what you're looking to deliver.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if we go back to the actual demo, okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to select one of those insurers that have given us a quote. So let's select Keylock. And on the right hand side, we're now presented what I call is like a utility panel, but it's a summary of what you've selected. So you can see who you've selected, the total cost. But what I want to draw your attention to is these additional services, the ability to add additional products to your quote, so upsell. And so Knowledge Cube, there's no restriction on when you do this. So you could ask these questions up front, you could ask them at the end. The choice is yours. But this is an example of how you can upsell additional products. So you can see in our grid how much it's going to cost to add terrorism, how much it's going to cost to add legal cover. So if we go and add terrorism, you can see that our overall cost of insurance has increased. We can then make the decision to actually go ahead and purchase. So like I touched on right at the start, it's about being able to integrate with third parties. And with Knowledge Cube, we can pretty much integrate with any third-party API, okay? And there's a few here, so PayPal, Stripe, and WorldPay, they're examples that we've integrated with using Knowledge Cube. But that's not saying that you can't integrate with your preferred payment provider. A lot of people have already got an agreement with a provider, so all it's all about is just then setting their connection up directly in Knowledge Cube, and then you can use that provider right out of the box. Very, very simple to do as well.
So if they've already got providers, they've got legacy systems in place, etc., it's very easy just to integrate them directly into the backend.
Exactly, and the service workbench allows you to do that, and if they've got documentation for it, you can upload that and it creates all the connections for you. Keeps it very, very simple. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is look to take payment via credit debit card. Okay, and important to say that Knowledge Cube can handle all the different workflows, so it can handle the fact that if the payment's declined, what should it do? So let's take it off to this route. Okay, the payment's been accepted, let's go down this other process. So it handles all of the different business processes that you need as a business to be able to operate. And again, you can then create notifications to different departments that a policy's been purchased, policy's just been declined, again, and things around maybe taking monthly payments. Okay, payments defaulted. Actually, what do you want to do with it? It needs to notify this department, and so on. Okay, so let me just enter my details for a payment.
Now, that's been up on the screen for quite a while now. I hope that's actually not your credit card number.
No, it's definitely not my credit card, so you're not going to be able to make any payments off of it, Harry. Okay, so let me just click confirm on there, so you can see we've now processed payment. But more importantly, if we look on our right hand utility panel again, you'll notice that the view has changed. So everything you see with Knowledge Cube, it can be controlled based on role, based on status. And so you have, again, that I keep referring to that ultimate flexibility, but you do, and you can then control what is being displayed to the user at any given time. So we've now purchased our policy. Okay, so our documentation is available to us. So like we showed in episode 2, what I've actually done is I've created another Microsoft Word template, which is just an example policy certificate that could be generated using Microsoft Word, and I've embedded a number of keywords. So it's really, really important. It's future-proofing people's investment. Okay, and a lot of these templates already exist because they've already been configured in Word already. So it's all they've got to do is update it with the relevant keywords, upload it into Knowledge Cube, and then it's usable.
Okay, so there's no need to go and redo all of the documents that you've already had. I know these companies, they have thousands of these documents. There's no worry about them oh God, we're going to have to go and remake all of these documents. They can just read.
And you can build dynamic document packs using the technology. So if you want to be able to chain multiple templates together, you can do so. So we've got examples where we've had to deliver different document packs based on the state that they are living in the US. Again, Knowledge Cube can cater for all these different variances that you require.
Okay.
Okay. So if I come out of here and we'll just view the policy document, and that knowledge cube will now open the document like we did in episode number 2. So you can now see the document template that's been rendered. All of the keywords have been populated with all the information that we've provided. But you know, it's becoming more and more common, and it's a common requirement that we're definitely receiving, is that clients require their customers to electronically sign documents. Okay, so what we've actually done is we've partnered up with one of our partners, OneSpan, who use Knowledge Cube, to actually provide an out-of-the-box connector with a key list of functionality that you can use to be able to provision electronic signature. Okay, so what you've got here is a little bit of information about OneSpan, and obviously you can then go and find the ideal plan for yourself. Once you set that up and you've got a subscription, all you have to do is go and update your subscription key to your connector in Knowledge Cube, and you can then use the out-of-the-box connector. Okay, so again, it's there ready configured for you.
Okay, so the e-signature comes straight out of the box. Just want to confirm this. All they have to do is go back to OneSpan. They get themselves a key. You put the key into the back of Knowledge Cube, and you've got an e-signature. Away you go. As
simple as that. Okay, and obviously you've got the example here of how we've done it, so you can then use that to understand how you'd build your process as well. So again, got some pre-populated information here. What's going to happen when I click submit? We're going to integrate directly with the OneSpan service. We're going to pass that dynamic document that we've created in Word into that service, and then OneSpan is then going to take care of the process, email the individual the email address that I have on screen here with a document asking them to sign the document. So if I click submit, and this can take a couple of minutes, so obviously please bear with it while it's being processed. So this is now calling that service.
So just while it's doing that then,
yeah, sure.
This obviously all passes audit, compliance. This is, it's going to get around all of that. You know.
Yeah, definitely. So it takes away any of that barriers of somebody didn't agree to the terms and conditions. So you can see quite quickly, here's our document that's been, we've been requested to come and sign. Email format. So okay, so Knowledge Cube demo has added you as a signer to residential landlords insurance. Please review and complete. Okay, so we can then click go to documents.
Can we email multiple people at once?
Yes, you can. And you can control that all from the workflow, and there's examples of how you can do that in the actual template. So you can now see that we've got, so if I review the documents, okay, so what's actually happened here is that signing's now been completed based on going into the site. You can see it's been finished, and what it's actually done is we've actually got a date and timestamp of when the actual quote was signed by the insurer, by the individual. Okay, so everything is confirmed by OneSpan. That can then be delivered directly back into your the application. Could be delivered into your CRM system, could be put into a SharePoint folder. Again, the choice is yours of where that document ends up.
Okay, that was actually going to be one of my questions. So I've written down a few questions. Is that the end of the demo, by the way?
Yeah, that's everything.
Okay, so I've got a few questions that I've written down here. So one of my questions was, can the document end up in a CRM/ERP system? So how long would it take for you to, you've done your process to actually integrate into, as you said, SharePoint, Dynamics, Salesforce, pretty standard systems. So how long would that integration take if you were to add it on to the end of there now?
Okay, so obviously you need to be aware of the different providers. Okay, so they'll have different requirements and what they're expecting to receive. So needs to be a little bit of understanding of that before you can begin. But once you understand that, to actually configure the connection, you're probably still looking 20-30 minutes using sort of Service Workbench. And then to build out your process, obviously depending on how the sort of complexity of it and everything like that is, you're probably looking at 2 to 3 hours just to get something up and running. So if you looked at half a day, I think that'd be pretty reasonable.
Okay, that's still pretty quick.
Yeah.
So just to continue that theme then, so based off what you've shown us today, so let's say you start with a blank canvas, you started with nothing. How long has that taken you? So you've built your system, you've integrated into Teams, you've integrated into OneSpan. Let's just add the, let's assume that you've put it into Dynamics, just add that in there. How long would that take?
Okay, so thinking on this example, just going back to sort of the point at the beginning, because we're using this template and we're using out-of-the-box styles, it takes a lot of the care, a lot of the work for us. So you don't have to worry about the layout or anything like that. It just looks good right from the outset. So to be able to build out the process and things like that, you're looking probably 2 to 3 days to deliver.
Okay, so everything you've just shown us, and including we've integrated into Dynamics or SharePoint or Salesforce, 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so do you have then, just thinking here, do you have a real world example, almost like a case study of where we delivered an insurance solution for someone in Knowledge Cube, using Knowledge Cube, versus how long it would have taken in traditional methods using code, etc.?
Okay, let me have a think. Okay, so just thinking back to last year, we did an insurance project for Arthur J. Gallagher around their dental insurance product for obviously for dentists and their nurses, and we from start of building sort of their new business flow, we probably would say getting it back in front of the stakeholders, I would say probably about 3 weeks, and then looking to go into user acceptance testing in week 4. So being able to turn it around very, very quickly. And then if we go back to sort of your traditional development of it, sort of insurance products, typically to take a product to market, you're looking at 12 to 18 months because the market changes at such a speed, at such a pace. And the fact that you have then stakeholders that decide will leave throughout that process. So Knowledge Cube fits really, really well in the fact that you can rapidly get something up in front of people, and obviously get feedback on that, get user acceptance testing, get there, and be able to work in a true iterative form without having to go through long, lengthy development cycles.
Okay, so using Knowledge Cube, you're looking at 4 to 6 weeks, say, to actually get something up and running and working in front of someone. And that's using low code, not necessarily for insurance, but that was just an example. But then 18 months, so 12 to 18 months if you were going to write that in code. So that's a significant saving.
Yeah, and how we look to work towards getting a minimum viable product. Okay, so what do you need from day one? Because actually getting that up and running, getting feedback on it, and because of Knowledge Cube's that the iterative fashion that you can deliver solutions on, you can very, very quickly build out sub processes and start to extend it out and giving feedback, getting feedback from your users, and then giving them that feedback, giving them those features in the space of a couple of days. It's being able to work in a true agile form.
Okay, look, thanks, Kieran. Well, that's all the questions that I've got. So, look, guys, as ever, if anybody wants any more information, go to www.knowledgecube.co.uk. There's a ton of information on there. There's loads of different solutions that we've delivered, some technical information. You can also get a free sandbox from there as well. Just fill in the information and someone will be in touch. Again, as always, if everyone could like and share this video, and if anybody wants to put any comments as to what they see next time, or send us an email, then please feel free to. Look, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and have a good day.